Hey guys, what is up? It is No Help and welcome back to another video today. So throughout the leagues, my bank dropped in value by quite a bit, but it has seemed to slowly recover pretty much to exactly where it was. So how did the league's 5 Raging Echoes affect the economy? So I'm going to be checking out a lot of the newer leagues items too, and some of the older ones, just to kind of get an idea of how much money people made and if you should have sold then or now type thing. So these are the twisted blueprints. These have been out in the game for a while, and they're basically just a POH customization that you can buy with the league points. And if we take a look at the past month of this item, it has dropped quite a bit, obviously because so many points have come into the game. Yeah, just like in December, these were 14 million GP each consistently, right? Even as high as almost 16 million. And then obviously, like when the league ended and everyone could spend all of their points, they crashed from literally like 15 mil January 2nd all the way down to 2.3 million now. Kind of insane, but if we take a look at the past year of this item, it will probably recover again to maybe about 3-4 million GP. It kind of was like that throughout most of the year. Yeah. Alright, so we've got the Raging Echoes Relic Hunter Tier 3 armor kit right here, and yeah, it looks like it's about 8.7 million GP. This does, however, I believe cost 20,000 league points, so it is one of the more expensive ones, and I'm kind of curious to see how this will go up or down within the next year or until the next league anyways. So as you can see, it was about 8, almost 9 million GP. And it looks like it's slowly going down a little bit, probably as more of them come into the game. I honestly don't really like this set that much, but it is one of the more expensive ones, and I did get the Dragon Cup, so I put it in the house. But yeah, 7.6 million for this. Definitely you could have made some money. Okay, so we've got one of the coolest items, I think, that came out with the Raging Echoes League, the Echo Venator Bow ornament kit. And this is kind of exactly where I thought it would be around this price, about 4 million, almost 5 million GP. And it looks like it is actually going up a little bit. And yeah, you can't really go too far back because it's only been out for so long. But this one, I'm curious to see because this one is super cool. Yeah, 5 mil right now, not bad at all. This probably would have been one of the better things to buy to make a lot of money. Okay, so the last Raging Echoes item I'm going to be checking out is the Virtus Ornament Kit. And you got to remember, these come in packs, so you get, I think it's 3 or 4 pieces anyways that you get for your league points, and they sell for this much each, which is kind of crazy that back in January 17th it was 1.8 million GP. Kind of crashed a little bit, but it's still over 1 million GP per piece right now, and it looks like it's actually kind of going back up. So curious to see again in like a year's time what this will be valued at. Okay, so right now we have the zombie axe. Now, basically, in my last video, people were saying that it was dropping because the new quest, the Curse of Arav, came out, and it was a lot easier to farm or more common to get anyways. So it looks like in this month, it went from 1.8 million to 1.8 million, and it had a high of about 2. So let's check the past year of this item. And it's kind of been up and down, I guess, depending on the update. Had a big crash from about 3 million all the way down to 1.2 when it was a lot easier, I guess, to farm out. And looks like it is actually slowly going back up. Could definitely be a good moneymaker for like mid-level accounts. So Zulrah skills seem to take a little bit of a hit, actually, going from almost like, yeah, at the start here, like 300 GP each in December, around Christmas time, and they're down right now about to 250. So not terrible, but definitely a good drop. And if we take a look at the past year of this item, this is the first drop in a really long time with Zulrah skills. Who knows, maybe there's new bots coming to 2025, but look at this though, they were dirt cheap throughout the past year, and they had a huge rise. I thought Jagex was really doing something about the botting problem, and yeah, now they're kind of crashing again to about 250. We've also got the Granite Mall, which seems to be crashing too, from 1.1 million down to 760k. That's kind of crazy too. Don't really know why. Maybe a lot more people are coming back in 2025 to maybe set some goals, or maybe there are a lot more bots coming back into the game. Kind of a big drop just for a month. We take a look at the past year. It looks kind of similar, honestly, to the Zalra Scales one. Very, very dirt cheap and was slowly rising like crazy again. Back up to 1 million, and that now it looks like it's dropping. Now, on the other hand, Blood Moon Tacits are actually going up from 10.3 all the way to almost 12 million. Kind of crazy. I mean, this armor set is very, very good to get, so maybe more people are buying gear to farm bosses in the new year. But yeah, pretty big increase there. We take a look at the past little while for this item, obviously when it first came out, right? But it stayed around 4 mil for a while, and then had some rises here and there, and it was high as 16 million GP back in October. But yeah, looks like it's on the rise again. Now, another item that is on the rise right now is Blood Runes. Now, I believe this is because there's going to be the new Fire Giant and Ice Giant boss coming out soon, so people want to get their scythes ready to farm. And as you can see, Christmas 222, and right now 240 GP per Blood Rune. And of course, we take a look at the past year. This item is always up and down like crazy. 200 all the way up to 312. That massive drop again to 218, and yeah, 240. But it's one of those things where when the Blood Rune is as low as 200 GP, might be a really good time to just spend a lot of money on them, because you can't lose money, because you can sell them to the guy in Elcrid for 200 GP, and yeah, if they go up to 300 again, you will be balling. Now, another item that seems to be taking a hit is Superior Dragon Bones, very similar to Zalra Scales, going from 28k each to as low as like 22k each. Looks like they're up on the rise a little bit again. Taking a look at the past year, again, very, very similar to Zalra Scales. They were, you know, pretty cheap there for a while, even hitting 9k back in May, and then just had a continuous rise with the botting problem sort of being like helped out of the game, and they seem to be crashing again. What's going on? So this is an item I always like to check because I've got tons of them on my account. Raw Karambwan, 360 to 350, so they dropped a little bit, and we'll take a look at the past year of the item. They were as high as almost 500 GP back in June. Looks like they're dropping a bit. But however, the cooked version of the Karambwan is crazy right now, 450 to basically 530, so it's went up almost 100 GP in the past month. You can make a absolute ton of money getting 99 cooking. So maybe a lot of the lower level accounts, or accounts that want to get their first 99, do it with Karambwans. You will make a ton of money, and it's one of the fastest experience ways to get cooking in the game. And we look at the past year of this item, it's actually pretty low right now, right? So you can make some serious money cooking even right now. So you want to stock up for the rest of the year on prayer potions. They are actually down a little bit right now, from 9.2 to about 8.8k. And we look at the past year, they were as high as like almost 12k back in May. Might be a decent time to buy them right now. Okay, so we have the Dragon Hunter Lance from 63 to 63. Really hasn't changed that much at all. Had a couple of highs of about 66 million. And if we look at the past year, right, this is a pretty stable item for the most part. I mean, ever since, I guess, about like May last year, it's kind of stayed pretty consistent. Had some nice highs, obviously, depending on the updates that come out. Like the Huey Codal, I believe it went up quite a bit. And yeah, it seems like maybe it's on the rise a little bit right now, but a pretty stable item. So one of the items I'm currently going for on my Ironman right now is the Amulet of Rancor, 89, pretty much 90 to about 90.8. So it looks like it actually went up a little bit, which is kind of interesting in the past month. I actually was expecting this item to go down a little bit, but it looks like it just keeps going up. I would assume after so many people have farmed a Raxor now that it would drop, but it really hasn't all that much. Like, I mean, a little bit obviously since it's come out, but it stayed pretty consistent. Okay, so we have the goading potion 4-dose right here from pretty much 80k down to 62, a huge drop, which is interesting. Might be a good time to stock up on some of these, and we'll take a look at the past while of this item. Of course, when it first came out, you could make absolute bank with this, but for a while it was staying at about 50, 60k. Kind of nice. And yeah, it went up a little bit as well. I guess during the leagues, maybe a lot of people were AFKing, wanted these potions, and it looks like they're crashing again. So we've got the Elder Maul right here coming from this basically Christmas time, 107 mil to 113 mil, so it went up a decent amount over the past month. Seems like a lot of the items that you need for PVM are going up, and then the actual loot from PVM is going down, which is a funny way to look at it. But yeah, we'll take a look at the past little while for this item. I remember when this thing was dirt cheap until they buffed it. 30 million for basically a mega rare at the Chambers of Eric, right? Insane. And then it just jumped right up, almost 200 million GP at one point back in May, and looks like it's on the rise a little bit again. Okay, so we've got the Enhanced Crystal Weapon Seed, or the BOFA, 166 to 164, dropped a little bit, nothing to be too worried about. But if you take a look at the past year, this item, it is pretty much just going up. Like, it is insane. This time last year, it was 120 million, and it just pretty much keeps going up. I mean, the Corrupted Gauntlet is some of the harder PVM content in the game, and this is an extremely rare item to get from there, so it kind of makes sense. There's not a lot of them obviously like coming into the game as much as other items, but yeah, it's holding its value and keep going up, so I'm happy about that. So the blood shard, it's actually kind of surprising me that it has gone up from 10.4 to 12.6 mil in a month. I know there's some people that have hundreds and hundreds of these in the bank, so you could have easily made a couple 100 million GP just by holding these for the past month. I actually think these are going to drop quite a bit. There was talk about pretty much making blood shards, or you could like recharge them or something. I don't know exactly what it was, but they were going to be a lot easier for Ironman account anyways. Who knows if this will affect like the actual price of them for main accounts, but yeah, they've went up a lot. And if you look at the past year, right, they were pretty cheap. Again, the botting problem was solved a little bit, and they went as high as 16 mil. Had a crash. Usually when it's like a really big increase, there is always a crash afterwards. Recovered a little bit, and it looks like it's actually on the rise again. Maybe farm these out to make some money this year. This is an item I'm a little curious about, the Christmas Cracker. It actually went up a good amount. Makes a bit of sense, right? Because there were so many coming into the game or just before Christmas because of the Christmas event, and I guess they're going up now. Yeah, but this one is a funny item right here. It was like 3 million each because people were using them for gambling, and then they patched that shit and it just dropped. Like, they even like being worth this much is still kind of insane. Imagine you're just starting out on Oldschool Runescape around Christmas time. You do the event and you can make, I think you get 2 of them, right? So you could easily make 600k within your first day if you start around Christmas time. Very good boost to the start of the game. But yeah, I don't think these will hold value forever. I mean, there's collectors, I guess, but 300k. So we've got the mega rare that I want more than anything, the Twisted Bow, from 1.6 bill down to, it dropped to what, like 5-10 mil, something like that. Nothing crazy in the past year of this item. Oh, always up and down, of course, right? But had a big drop in July, about like what, 100 million GP, or in October, sorry. And yeah, this is always going to be an item that's worth a lot. Here's the question though, is the Scythe past the T-Bow yet? Well, actually, it looks like the Scythe has officially passed the T-Bow. The last video I made, I believe the T-Bow was still worth more, but yeah, the Scythe has actually passed it, which is kind of crazy. So this is the most expensive mega rare in the game right now, the Scythe of Vitter. And yeah, again, dropped it pretty much like around the same as the Twisted Bow, a little bit there. And this is another item continuously going up. I remember when these were like, what, 400 or 500 mil? Probably should have tried to get one on my alt account, because that would have been one hell of an investment. This time last year, they were under a billion GP, and now they are 1.6. Crazy investment. We might as well check the Atomic and Shadow as well. Basically 2 bill. Didn't change much at all, really. And this is complete opposite, which is funny. There hasn't been as much use for the Atomic and Shadow as there was in the previous years. So maybe it will get a buff this year. Maybe we'll get a new magic item this year. But yeah, it went from 1.5 bill down to 1.2. I mean, still not like a huge loss compared to other items, or I guess compared to the profit you would have made with the scythe, but still a pretty big drop. So maybe, I don't know, if it drops anymore, it might be a good time to pick one of these bad boys up. I know the Tombs of Amascate is a lot more common and a lot more easier of a raid to get purples in, so that could also have something to do with it. And lastly, we always do the old school RuneScape bond. So this Christmas, it was about almost 13 million, and now it is 14.5. I knew it would actually go up a little bit at the end of the year, because a lot more people want to join the game, maybe at the start of the year, and see how far they can go, blah, blah, blah. So yeah, it went up a lot actually, and the bond should always be going up. It's getting harder and harder to escape free-to-play. Yeah, I can't even imagine how long it would take to make 14 million GP in free-to-play, like killing cows or something. But yeah, and if you take a look at the past year, again, always going up. So from this time last year, 10.6 mil, that seems so cheap compared to what it is now. From 10.6 all the way up to pretty much 15 million GP right now. So yeah, the bond has pretty much went up, 30 something % this year. Insane. Anyways, thank you guys so much for watching the video today. I will catch you in the next one. See ya later.